I just want to do a double check. We are live. Third phase of the moon. Blake Cousins. Welcome back, everybody from around the world. We're doing it. It's September 27th, 2020, and we're taking your calls from around the world right now. Everybody, give us a big thumbs up. I know the popular demand has wanted us to bring back the live radio shows, and we're doing it. We're taking calls from around the world. The number to call in is 516-387-1636. We see that the lines have been building up. So let me just warn everybody, if you're calling in, I'm going to get to you. And I want to hear your UFO experience. You got something you want to share to the world, you've come to the right place. But if you don't want to share a story, then leave room for the phone lines, because the people want to talk to Third Phase of Moon, because the information out there, I think, is where we need to get it, is from the public. You, the people, have the smoking gun information. We're not going to get it from our governments. We're not going to get it from any world leaders. We're going to get it from a person that has something that could change the world, and that's why we're opening up the lines today. And we're just going to get to it. I see we got a lot of area codes coming in from 847-518-419-509 and 239. Just stand by. We're going to get to everybody, but let's just start it off. Area code 419 has been standing by. Area code 419, we're going to take your call, and tell us where you're calling from, and what's your name? Area code 419.
Hello, Blake. You got me?
Yeah, how you doing today?
Hi, yes, I'm good. It's a pleasure to be on, and this is my first time on.
That's awesome. So where are you calling in from? I appreciate the call in. You got something you want to share with us tonight? Go ahead.
You betcha. That was my point here. I'm residing in northwestern Ohio. My name is Keith. So I've got a ton of experiences throughout my entire life. So again, in trying to keep with your format, one of my biggies was way back in 1968, about this season of the year. Me and two other kids were outside playing. We saw just a pattern of lights doing a zigzag pattern working its way toward us. As it got closer, it didn't look like typical aircraft, right? Yeah, I'm sure you've heard this story before, but basically it stopped and turned in front of us, a 90-degree turn, and very slowly hovered, stopped over treetop heights. It was, of course, silver in color, roughly 50 feet in diameter, and it had what I would describe as picture windows in the thing, right? And looking down at us, and they were backlit. In other words, the inside of the UFO was brightly lit, and I could see three silhouettes, if you would, 50 feet off the ground, right? I mean, they were 50 feet from us, looking down at me and my two friends. And there were two little ones in one window. In the window next door, there was a long, tall, skinny one wearing a cape, I think. But then I don't know how much time passed, honestly, but I went into the house. I live with my parents, and I called the Air Force, believe it or not, and they told me, wait a minute. They hooked me up with a Colonel somebody. I'm sorry I forgot his name, but I talked to this guy for about 15 minutes. And when that was done, the nightly news came on, and sure enough, there was a rash, like hundreds of calls into the newsroom stating that there were UFO sightings. So that was quite interesting, and I would be very happy to answer any question you would have of me.
Yeah, there's a little delay going on, but absolutely. I want to get this question. So you talked to this military person that they got you in contact with via the Air Force after you had this experience, and then the news, and they were getting hundreds of calls of UFOs. Let's just back it up again. Where exactly, What date was this? And was there any evidence? What did the news guys say afterwards? And wow, you said you saw a being with a cape. Can you just go into a little bit more detail? This is fascinating.
Yeah, and this is just one of my many. So, but we'll focus on this because I know you have to move on. It was the Colonel. I'm sorry, I don't remember the man's name. Like I said, this was Toledo, Ohio. It was in the fall. The leaves were just falling down, like now. In northwestern Ohio we have, it was at dusk when this thing approached and did its thing. By the time it had left, it was dark out. So I can't account for that time, okay, between then. And when it did take off, it made zero noise. There were no noises from any neighborhood animals. There was no wind. There was no nothing. It was dead quiet.
Let me ask you this. Did you, so you experienced missing time? You don't know exactly how long. Could you give us an approximate time of this missing time? And did you see any kind of maybe strange markings on your body afterwards?
Now, as far as markings go, I didn't have enough sense to look, honestly. I was a kid. I was just a young kid. And as far as missing time, I'd give it a good hour.
It's quite interesting because I think a lot of these experiencers, and when we do these radio show calls, it's quite amazing because all this starts off when people are in their adolescence, when they're children, they're having these experiences, and then it seems that they continue to have these experiences throughout their lives once they've made this contact. Do you think there's a relation with children experiencing this and the continued relationship with these beings?
Well, Blake, I can tell you this. My first recollection of something that was odd that went on was when I was 5 years old. There were three of them. And this three theme of them has carried out through my entire life. I'm not a young man. And basically, yes, like I say, to answer your question directly, when I was 5 years old, there were three of them, and I can describe them to you.
Hold on a sec. When you said when you're 5 years old and there was three of them, now let's just back
Yes.
up. And there's not many people that know this, but since you're bringing this up, we could tell the world that my brother and I, we had an experience when we were approximately 4 to 5 years old where three beings came into our room, and there were large-headed, big black eyes, and they were wearing jumpsuits, and they're very we didn't feel threatened by them, but it's amazing that it starts out when you're young. Both my brother and I can swear that we saw this and we weren't imagining it. There were both of us witnessing this. So could you describe them, please?
They were small. They were the small grays. They had 4 fingers. Long, skinny fingers. They were, they had, the big heads, right? And they were carrying and I remember my conversation telling my parents, they were carrying what I thought were needles in their 4 skinny fingers. And the needle was like they were holding it palm up and the needle up in the air. And I was scared to death. I will never forget this. But go ahead.
Yeah, obviously large needles, strange beings entering your room at the age of 5 years old, absolutely terrifying, I would have to say. I had my brother there, so maybe I felt not as intimidated. We didn't see any needles. They didn't seem like they were doing any testing. But like I said, you say, this missing time, you never know what's going on during that time. But I appreciate your call, and I hope it inspires other people to call in because I think it's brave for people to come forward and share their story. Hey, we're going to be doing this show through pretty consistently, so feel free to call back and tell us some more of your experiences. I know you got a lot of them. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for taking my call, and it was a pleasure sharing this with your audience. And like I alluded to early in my conversation, I've got a ton of experiences.
Absolutely. We look forward to hearing back from you. Keep your eyes on Third Phase Moon when we do these live radio shows, and we'll have you back, man. You be safe out there. All
right, Blake. Love you guys.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. All right. Wow. Super cool. It's really fun to open up these phone lines again. We got a lot of people. Their connection is very clear. The audio is very clear, and respect the airtime because a lot of people got to share their story. So this caller was perfect. He did that. He got his story out, and yeah, people could call in multiple times if they even have more stories. But let's keep it down to 5 to 10 minutes, somewhere around there. All right, let's get to the next callers. So we've got a lot of them, so we're going to try and get to them all. So let's bring up area code 703, and 703 has been waiting on the line for a while. So welcome to the show. Can you tell us where you're calling in from? Area code 703, you there? Yeah, can you speak up a little bit? You're coming a little soft. Hello? Nope.
Hello?
No audio coming from area code 703. So we're going to push it back up, and we're going to go to area code 509. 509 has been standing by. Let's get to this caller and see where they're coming in from. You there? Go ahead.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going? Where are you calling in from?
Hi. Washington State.
Wow, appreciate it. We're getting calls from all around the world. I'm so glad you called in. I know the lines are building up, and it's kind of hard to get in. We got a lot of people wanting to share their stories tonight, but we got Washington State listening in. And can you tell us, you got something on your mind? You got an experience, obviously. Let's hear it. Go ahead.
Well, the one that I don't hardly ever share is one that happened. I was in my very early 30s. Up here in the Puget Sound area, we use the ferry system a lot. You know, the one where you drive your car onto it and then chugs across the sound and takes you where you want to go and you drive off. So I've got my kids and I on the ferry. They were sitting having some snacks at a table. I was ready for some fresh air. The weather was kind of drizzly, but not raining, just kind of gray and glum and cloudy. And I'll be damned if I'm not standing there. And I'm the only one out on that side of the ferry at that moment. And I know it's gonna sound crazy, but a huge silver disc thingy came up out of the water right below where I was standing, maybe within a few feet of the actual ferry. And it came up out of the water. There was no water dripping off of it. There were lights going around the entire top of it. And like it hovered at about maybe 10 feet out of the water for just like maybe 1,000, 1,000. It shot up straight vertical into the sky, and then it was gone. Shoop, gone. Blew me away. I thought I was hallucinating. I mean, I'm still blown away, and I know that it really happened because that's not even the best part. I went into the bathroom and got some cold water and splashed it on my face and put myself in check, you know. That was before the days of cell phones and whatnot. When I came back out, I had to go back out onto the observation deck on the side. And no sooner did I, get out there to the rail, and I saw one come in from the same direction that the other one flew out from. Only this one wasn't coming down vertical. This one just kind of descended like a plane comes into land, and it just kind of came down out of the sky into the water. And it didn't splash or anything. And the Puget Sound is seawater. It's salt water. It's like being out in the ocean. I mean, there was nothing, no splash, no sound, completely silent. It was bizarre. And to this day, it's the one that really bugs me the most. Because, again, it was before cell phones, no pictures. I have no way to prove it. I just sound like a crazy lunatic.
No, you don't.
But that's it.
No.
That's what I wanted
Wow.
to share with you guys.
You know,
And it was
your
big,
story is...
too.
Thank you. You know, your story is so amazing because there's been a lot of testimony from these Navy pilots describing the exact same thing you witnessed, basically known as the Tic Tac. And there's apparently this gravitic technique that this craft uses in order to cut through the water. And the way you're describing this, where it was able to cut through the water without even leaving a splash, or when it ascended out of the water, there's no drips or residue of water on the ship, because some people are stating that it has its own gravitational field around this object. So basically, it's like disturbing the water around the craft where it's not actually even in contact. So it's amazing that you saw this for yourself.
Yeah.
It sounds incredible.
Well, yeah, it was pretty bizarre. I know what I saw. I know what I saw, and I know what I saw, and it was like
What do you think?
like the.
What do you think it was?
Huh?
Do you think there was maybe?
Like,
do you think that it's possible that there's maybe craft that or underwater UFO bases? What was your just immediate thought, that this was extraterrestrial, maybe some kind of scientific experiment? What was your impression?
My impression was that it was otherworldly, due to the fact that I had recently taken a tour up in Bangor on a nuclear submarine, which was absolutely awesome and really high tech, and it just blew my mind. That nuclear submarine was just like, whoa, out of this world. But because of how it entered the water, how the first one came out of the water and took off, and how the second one entered the water, that night when I laid in bed, I just kept thinking to myself, that can't be from the earth. This is not happening here on earth. These are people that are hiding in the water, and that was my first initial explanation to myself, was that for whatever reason they hang out in the water. Who's going to tell on them? I mean, the otters can't speak, you know.
Yeah, it's a perfect place for them to hide. Obviously, most of our oceans haven't been explored, and you know, it's just a perfect place to camouflage, and with their technology, it's so amazing. It's just I consider you lucky to have such a close encounter the way you did with the metallic object, and you know, it's just I appreciate you calling in, telling your story. It's amazing, and you keep in touch. You never know, you might have a close encounter with these guys again. But I appreciate it again so much. Thanks for calling in.
Hey, no problem. You take care.
I will. You do the same. Be safe out there. Wow, well, that is amazing, because when people tell their stories like that, they know what they saw, and that makes me believe more than anything that we're not alone. Obviously, these people, some people are saying, though, these are paid actors. Oh, these people, Third Phase Moon is paying these people to call in and make up these stories. No, these are strangers to me. Strangers sometimes can be the best ally you could ever have, because there's honesty amongst strangers. And we're just dealing with the public, and we're taking people's calls. And again, we got a lot of people wanting to share their story tonight. So we're going to get to it. Let's see. Let's go to area code 313. They've been holding on, and we're going to bring 313 in and bring them into Third Phase of Moon. How are you doing today, 313? Where are you calling in from? 313 is a little shy, I guess. So we'll move on to the next caller. Let's see. I got an area code 952. You want to bring in 952? It seems like they want to get on the show. Let's bring them on. 952. Welcome to Third Phase Moon. How you doing today? Where are you calling in from? 952 dropped out. You know, some people get a little shy. I understand. Like I said, if you're calling in, we're going to get to you. We want to share your story, and we want to get it out within 5 minutes or so we could bring in more people's testimony. Let's go to area code 239. We got a lot of people holding on tonight. Area code 239, how you doing today? Where are you calling in from?
Hi, this is Ward from Fort Myers, Florida.
Hey, Ward, welcome to the show. Right on. Hey, thanks for calling. We're on the opposite sides of the United States. We're in Hawaii. You're in Florida. Amazing. We're bringing in the world today. What's on your mind over there, Ward? Go ahead.
Well, for one thing, I'm really surprised that I'm even getting through to you. I'm very heavily monitored by the government. I am like a walking skinwalker ranch. The reason my monitor,
the government,
yeah, they on my emails, my phone calls, follow me around, everything. It's the big reason is because I have the evidence that could blow people away. I have video, picture, and physical evidence, and so and also I have a family that's also witnessed it, and we're all willing to take polygraphs. This stuff will blow people. I've been trying to send you emails of some of my videos, but evidently they're monitoring it, and it's not getting through to you guys, because I'm sure if you've seen what I have, you'll be blown away.
Well, Ward, I've received a lot of videos from you, as a matter of fact, and I think I urge you to put it up on YouTube and let people think and see what you're seeing. Because
you do know me, huh?
Yeah, I see your videos. I get them. You're like filming in dark corners, or it's a little foggy, but you see something in the corner pop up here.
No. Evidently, then they're messing with them. My videos are clear and not dark. Unless when they get to you that they're making them that way.
Wow,
I do have
weird.
them up on. That's not the first time they've done that to me. Also, when I put them on YouTube, they have a tendency to make them darker and less clear. Now, my copies are pristine, and they've been messing with me for a long time now, and it just. The evidence I have is broken, and all of the things that I've encountered out over these years, it's just insane. I mean, almost every type of phenomena, almost every type of creature or alien you could think of, I got videos of. Nothing still shot. Well, I have still shots too, but just it's the strangest life of anybody in history. Believe me.
Let me ask you this: so you're being visited, in your opinion, by multiple species of aliens. So, and you're photographing, you're filming these things. Tell me about one of these experiences. I know we got a lot of people calling in, but we want to share your story,
problem.
And it's radio right now. So
sure.
Go ahead and explain one of these experiences. Go ahead, Ward.
Okay, yeah. The last one I just put online, it was just I knew that there was something in my my mother's place. I could feel that they were around. So I put the camera on. This is broad daylight. And so I'm carrying the phone around with me hoping that I'd see them, but I didn't see anything, And so then I walk out to the garage, and I think they knocked me out while I was in the garage, because that's how the video is. Not the one I have online, but because it's a lot longer. I only put the short version online. And when I come back into the house, you could see there's an alien standing at the window waving at the camera. I mean, that just sounds totally insane. But I'm just a poor man. I'm 57 years old. I don't know how to fake this kind of stuff, And it's just incredible. And at the beginning of the video, you see this appendage of this creature. Neither thing did I see when I was filming.
Let me ask you this, Ward. let me go back a little bit. Have you had experiences only as of recent time? Why do you think the government's following you around? Have you had the MIB follow you? Have you had
no
visitation?
MIB? No, they do stuff like they came into my condo and like they moved stuff around on me, and like I came in and like the air vents in my condo were all loosened up, like they got caught. Came back too soon, and they didn't get to put cameras up there or something. And like I know a thief is not going to break into my house and unscrew my air vents, you know. And like I'd go outside and I'd see all these cars. Like one time I went out in the parking lot. They love intimidating me, but they never do anything to my face. I went out to the my parking lot of my condo, and all the cars had government plates on it. And none of those people in my condo building have government people. And you know, and things like that. They just, you know, constantly, and like with all my emails, somebody will send me an email. I'll send somebody, or they'll like when I try to they make fake Facebook profiles about me. They've made a fake Twitter account on me, and they put really messed up stuff on it, and also comments. I've seen comments written that were messed up, and they weren't. I never did any of this. They're trying to make me look bad too, you know, make me look crazy and bad. They're doing a good job of it, because I know that sounds crazy.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. To some people, but not me. You know, we've spoken to thousands of people that have had these experiences. So here's something that I'm kind of throwing out there. And you know, if you're having these unique experiences and they want to make themselves known to you, you're saying they're waving at you. Do this. Now, I know this is a little crazy, but listen to me real quick. If you could catch one of these things, catch one of them, trap it, I'll buy it from you for $1 million. And then, you know, we'll make friends with it. You know, whatever. We'll treat it nice.
I had actually these things underneath my bed. I have a video of it too, of this like snake-like thing snapping at me. And I think it laid its eggs under my bed. And I tried contacting everybody saying, I have the proof right here. But I wasn't going to touch it because I didn't want to get hurt. But if MUFON, I tried to contact them, MUFON, if they wanted to come in and mess with this, they were more than happy to. But I wasn't about to. And they disappeared 2 days later. And but of course, nobody came. MUFON, they probably thought this is another nut. But I had the physical evidence. I also have other physical. I have, like, you know, I'm not even going to get into it. It's all just sounds too crazy. It really does. That's why it's like the Skinwalker Ranch. The stuff sounds so insane.
Well, you know, there's a lot of experience going around. People experience strange things, and it sounds like, who knows? Maybe resend those videos. I urge you, put it up on your YouTube channel. Name it. Experience or alien caught on video. Let the public see what they say, and get back to me. I want to get people's opinions on Ward's videos. Take a look at it. Hey, do you got a YouTube channel?
It's our Ward Alien Video.
Say that again?
The name of my channel is Ward, one word, and then Alien Video, the second word.
All right, guys. That's Ward calling in from Florida. You heard his YouTube channel. Appreciate Ward calling in. And, you know, everybody go take a look at his YouTube channel. Look at his evidence. And if you guys think there's something there, give me a heads up. Give me a heads up if Third Phase of Moon should cover Ward and his evidence. That's, you know, we're going to let the public decide on this stuff. And if they think Ward's evidence is good, we'll follow up on Ward's stuff. So go take a look. He told you his YouTube channel. We're going to get some more callers. Right now, this is Third Phase of Moon. We're doing it live, backed by popular demand, taking the public's testimony right here at Third Phase of Moon. We're going to go to area code 204 next. 204, get ready. You're on Third Phase of Moon. Where are you calling in from?
I'm calling in from Canada.
All right. Well, welcome to Third Phase. You're coming in loud and clear. Go ahead. Tell us a story. You got something, an experience you had?
Yeah, I actually quite a few, but I guess sort of to set the stage, my first experience was when I was quite young, I was between the ages of 15 and 17, and I grew up in the rural area, far enough from the city lights that I didn't have a lot of light pollution. And I've always wondered whether or not this had anything to do with my experiences, but and I can prove this. I can send you a business card and a top secret partially filled out clearance.
Can you speak up just a bit? Just speak up a little bit.
Yeah,
you're coming a little soft.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Thank you.
My signal's really bad here. I'm sorry about that. So my before I tell you my first experience, my father worked for an aerospace company, and it was located in a rural area far away from the city. They built rockets and rocket engines, solid rocket boosters mostly, for military and industrial applications. And my father was manager of assembly operations. Right next door to us was his boss, and the only reason I bring this up is because my first encounter was in the backyard of my home. And as I said, I was between 15 and 17, and this was in the 1970s. So no cell phones to take video, no video camera, but just my eyeballs. And it was a hot summer evening. I can't tell you how late at night it was, maybe closer to 11 o'clock at night. And I was looking north. And as I looked northward, just looking at the stars, because I like looking at the stars, I knew some of the constellations. I noticed funny movement, and it really caught my eye. And what I saw was turned out to be 3 points of light in a triangle shape that were moving in unison, counterclockwise, somewhat slowly, which made no sense. There was no sound of any engines. There were no flames from any rocket body. There were no helicopter or jet engine sounds. It was completely silent, and it was fairly high up, and it just made no logical sense. I continued to watch it, and it just hovered in one position, rotating. And at that time, I bothered my little brother, who was wondering what I was looking at, and I tried pointing it out to him, and he saw it as well. And I said, go get Mom and Dad's binoculars. They're in the house. We had a pair of old binoculars that weren't the greatest, but they were at least better than the naked eye. So he rushed in and got the binoculars and brought them out while I kept an eye on this rotating object. And when he brought them out, I had a closer look, and I could see that the object actually was darker in between the 3 points of light that formed a triangle than the night sky itself. And I could see that there was a point of light, albeit very, very faint. You couldn't see it with the naked eye above the 3 points of light. So this was a three-dimensional object that was rotating. And I put the binoculars down and continued to look at it, and I can't tell you how much time passed, but in an instant, that object moved faster than almost I could track it across the sky to the east. And it was faster than anything I knew could ever travel. And it stopped instantaneously. And the weirdest thing is the rotation of the object. The speed of that rotation didn't change. In my head, I still replay it, and I think it's so strange that the rotation didn't speed up with the incredible speed of this thing as it crossed the sky. And it was phenomenal. I mean, the quickness that this crossed the sky and the abruptness that it stopped by any physics I knew and I know of right now, this would have liquefied anything on the inside. I mean, there's no way a biological body could not be gooified by the forces of that kind of an abrupt stop from that sort of an acceleration. And so the object stopped to the east, which incidentally was also in the direction of the facility that my father worked in. And it continued to rotate at the same speed, stood there, silent, rotating for moments. And then all of a sudden, it completely flew back, exact same trajectory, pretty much as far as I could tell anyways, the exact same speed at which it had moved in that direction to the exact location which it started from. And again, it stopped at a dime. It continued to rotate at the same speed of rotation. And again, it was just incredible to see. But then as I saw the object, and it took a few heartbeats to sort of get my mind around what I was seeing, I saw next to the object that I had been watching another object, which again had 3 points of light in a triangle and was rotating in the same counterclockwise direction as the initial object. So now there were two, and they were right beside one another. I'd never seen anything like it before. I hadn't seen anything quite like that after, but I had continued to see strange objects throughout my life, and maybe that's because I continue to watch the sky and try and keep an open mind, but very strange.
Absolutely. Let me, it's interesting because, I think what you're looking at is, obviously, in my opinion, we've talked about it for years, is the infamous TR-3B. It's this black triangular craft that works with anti-gravity. It's reverse engineered technology.
This would have been years before the TR-3B would have even been mentioned, though, Blake. This would have been This would have been the 1970s, right? There weren't any mentionings of this.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, sir. We've had our own TR-3B experience over here on the Big Island of Hawaii. A friend of ours said, you got to come down. There's been strange lights going on over our house. Please come with your video cameras. We're like, hey, what the heck? Let's do it. It's our birthday. Let's, go hang out with these guys. They lived in the middle of nowhere. No neighbors for 2 miles, whatever. And then at 8:30, it hit the fan. All of a sudden he's like, look, there it is. And this massive triangular object, just the way he described it, came and ascended down upon us. And, one of our friends had a gun on him, and he was ready to start shooting up at it. He is so scared. But this is what I wanted to ask you, because you mentioned this, and this is what I noticed, too, is not just the triangular craft itself, but did you see, like you said, that you saw an escort craft, like another light, doing circles around it? Because we saw this strange apparition of a light doing circles around the corner of the triangular craft. Go ahead.
No, this was basically an identical, as far as I could tell, an identical craft to the original one that I had seen. And I call it craft only because it's lights in the sky that are behaving in incredible ways that defy our laws of physics, that are intelligently controlled, right? Because there's no way.
I estimated the size that we saw the craft at approximately, a football field size. How large were these two craft, in your opinion?
At least that. They would have had to have been at least a minimum that, but I would have suspected a lot larger. The closest thing I've ever seen to anything that looked somewhat similar is some of the footage that I saw of the pyramidal shaped triangles near in Washington. I don't know if you've seen that footage or not, where there were multiple camera captures of these objects that were very somewhat faded that were rotating in the Washington area. But other than that,
did you feel intimidated by them? Were you intimidated by them, or what was it?
No. I did have an experience where I was intensely intimidated, but it wasn't by that. I was in Florida at a condominium that I owned, and So I was up late at night looking at the stars, and the best way to describe this was, I guess, could be that there was like a blackness, blacker than the background of space, sort of a best way I guess I could describe it is a sort of a doorway that opened up, and through this came an incredibly large oval craft. And as I saw that sort of appear a piece at a time, there was sort of this stuff starts sounding really weird when you start talking about it out loud. Sorry. There were next to it, there was a shimmering of like you'd see on a hot summer day if you were looking down the highway. The pavement was causing those ripples in the air, in the atmosphere, and it became hard to see what was really happening behind that that air. And what happened was two lit objects sort of shimmered, if I could say that, came into view. They actually crossed each other's paths a couple of times as they came right next to the large aircraft that was circular and extremely dark. And so that they seemed more like they were, the better word I guess I could use was escort, if you want to use that word, escorting, but they were right next to this larger craft, this large, very, very dark, blacker than night. You know, if you've seen videos with Vanta Black, describing what Vanta Black is, or any of the, where they've painted masks that are three-dimensional Vanta Black, and it basically takes away anything that has a 2D feature to it. That's the kind of blacker than black that this oval craft was. That was very large. And that gave off really negative vibes to me. That thing sent me from the patio area back inside the condo, because I just, I didn't like what I was seeing for some reason.
You know, appreciate the call in. Incredible sightings, and we're getting them from around the United States. We're inviting people from around the world to call in. You know, this is amazing. We got this testimony just coming in from Canada. Appreciate you, caller. Appreciate you coming forward, and you be safe over there. You know, it's amazing. People are coming forward with their stories, close encounters. What an incredible show today, because we wanted to open up the radio show, let people call in, share their testimony, and wow, we sure got it. And I guess it inspires me to keep doing this. How about you guys? Do you guys want us to keep doing these radio shows, bringing in the public? Go back to the old school of Third Phase of Moon? Give me a big thumbs up. Leave your comments below and let me know. And I appreciate everybody in the live premiere and the super chat. And we're going to be getting some new UFO videos coming in. And Brent's been finding some really good stuff that we're going to be sharing with you very soon. So stand by for that. Everybody, be safe out there. We're going to be doing this radio show again, so make sure you hit that notification bell to be notified when we go live. We're going to be doing it real soon. So I'm sorry if we didn't get to everybody tonight, but it was sure amazing to go over some incredible stories. So you guys be safe out there. Blake Cousins, we'll see everybody real soon.